Katakio again here. Our world as we know of it is changing. More and more people are getting disillusioned and frustrated at what's going on in our world. Everything is totally out of control and the universe has to balance itself. I just want everybody to know that everything is happening in our world is happening just like it's supposed to, and it's in divine order for the change that's necessary to take place, that it's going to be happening as a result of karma, the reap what you sow law, cause and effect that has caught with the masses over time for bad behavior and wrongdoings over time. And it's around the world. And it's like this. It's an opportunity for us to have a visual of how we've treated ourselves, each other, in our world in which we move, live, and have our being. It's time for the foolish to end all foolish behavior. And it can only end when people spiritually wake up and realize what's going on and stop the foolishness. The energy must change and rebalance itself because the universe is waiting for us. It can't do anything till we do something, because we're the ones that destroyed our planet and each other, and we're the ones that can fix it. We have to start back from the beginning of understanding life in the beginning as is known. I see people every day writing posts and stories about Jesus. They're missing the whole point. The fact that Jesus was a prophet and came here to teach us about a truth that we have forgotten, but Jesus is not God. He tells us that, and everybody seems to think that Jesus is God. Maybe that's why things aren't being answered and the world hasn't changed right now, because everybody's praying to Jesus instead of God. Jesus in the Bible is symbolic of super consciousness, but it's symbolism of super consciousness. It is not God. And Jesus tells us through the spiritual gospels that he is not God, that God is in him that's doing the work. He says, I myself as a man does nothing. It's the Father within that does the work, and the Father is God. And everybody had missed that point. And that's like, it's written like that so you can't miss it, so you won't overcome all the wrongdoings and have your prayers answered like in a timely manner, because you're praying to Jesus, which is a man that's dead, a prophet that's dead already. But God, the Christ that lived in Jesus, lives in everybody, and it's awake, alert, and alive, waiting for us to call on it to help us to get ourselves together and surrender our lives to it, and to let it know that we want the will of God, which is the will of good, not our own free will. And as we start that consciousness, things will start to change for the better of everybody. But the reap what you sow laws of cause and effect is around the world from wrongdoing, because every country in this world has done some wrong behaviors to themselves, each other, and their fellow country people in their country. And it's time to stop all the foolishness, period, so we can have a renewed conscience in our world and things can change like they're supposed to. And we have to go back to the beginning. And we have to understand spiritual laws of the universe. We have to understand that God is energy. It is not a person. That's why nobody's ever seen God, because it's invisible energy. Jesus even tell you, I have never seen my Father. Even though I go to my Father, I haven't seen him. He's telling us that this spirit is a spirit, and he did everything in spirit. He prayed in spirit. He worshiped in spirit. He healed from spiritual understanding, not a human understanding. And he had taken the time to get to know who God is, and this is why he could come here to teach us the truth that we have forgotten, because he took the time to connect with this energy. In the beginning, before there was anything, the energy, which is negative and positive, masculine and feminine, male and female, intuition, intellect, moved upon itself in creation. And then when God decided to make man, he divided himself into two. He made one part of himself male and one part of himself female. And this union has to come together and be used as one for the wholeness of God to operate through us as humans. Most of us haven't figured that out yet, but that's what the story in Genesis is about. It's about evolution and creation. We evolved the serpent, the snake. The serpent is a symbolic of our lower animal consciousness that we started out with in the beginning, because there was nothing developed for us to understand and live on. So we had to live on the land, so we had to build our lower self so we could survive until we start to evolve. And this lower consciousness lives in everybody now, and that's why in religion they call it the devil, but it's not the devil. It's the primitive mind, the lower animal consciousness that encourages bad behavior in everybody. And most people unknowingly live from that consciousness of lower behavior, and it encourages all kinds of wrongdoings. But the fact that it's there, we're supposed to rise up from that lower place to our higher divine place, our deity, our God self. And it takes both of these states of mind to work together as one. This is what Genesis is about, the tree of life, the tree of knowledge, good and evil. You can use these energies separately, but if you use them separately, all positive or all negative, you're going to have we're not going to get the right results, because you need both states of mind. You need the whole of God, which is positive and negative energies, together working through us. And this energy works through our sympathetic nervous system. The negative energy and the positive energy works through our parasympathetic nervous system. But as we tune into our parasympathetic nervous system and start working this energy, it will cancel out the negative and it will balance itself. Or we will use the negative energy to realize what's going on, and the positive energy to see that whatever we're thinking about doesn't make sense, and to use them together to balance. And that balance, the wisdom from the two states of mind used together as one, that gives us balance in all areas of our lives. So we have to turn to that and understand what's really going on at the highest level of the Christ consciousness. And I see more and more people getting disillusioned with what's going on in the world. You got women marrying women, men marrying men, and it's out of control. People are killing, people are hurting, people are harming, people are stealing, people are greedy, and it's out of control. At the highest level, we have coronavirus going around, which is the collective consciousness of the masses, which has evaded our world. And it's like nobody come up with a solution to heal it yet, but right behavior will heal all these ills and issues in our world. We just got to start changing the energy. We have to do this because we have to think right, and we have to feel right, and just do right actions and right behaviors in order for the energy to change, and it will. God's waiting for us to do this, because we're the ones that destroyed everything and upset the balance of the universe. We got to balance it back out by doing right behaviors and right actions toward ourselves, each other, and our world. People are getting more disillusioned and just going off leading towards the wrong way, because they are being dominated and controlled by the primitive mind, the animal consciousness, that lower animal self that all must learn and know about. And everybody says, and like I said, men are marrying men, women marrying men. It's totally out of control, and everybody says it's wrong, but nobody tell you why it's wrong. And the reason that it's wrong because it goes against the principles of life. You need a male and a female to keep the balance, and two males and two females together will not keep the balance. When God made man, he divided himself into two and made one part of himself male and one part of himself female for the balance. And when you have a relationship, you're supposed to have the other half of yourself to keep the balance, not the same. All the action in the universe takes place by the friction of two opposing forces, not two like forces, two opposing forces, both male and female, positive and negative. And so you have to come back to that balance, and our world will change, because the conditions in the world will change, because we have stopped going against the laws of the universe. If we don't stop going against the laws of the universe, it's going to get worse. You think it's bad now, but it's going to get worse, trying to get our attention. Everything's to get our attention. And the bottom line is, since shedding the body is not death, we continue to live. We incarnate many times to reincarnate, to have a new start at life. And everything that we came here to do, we're supposed to be doing it, not doing just the opposite. We came here, each time we incarnate or reincarnate, we're here to correct issues in our soul from past lives and wrongdoing. And this is why people realize that you don't tell when people do stuff, because when you don't tell when people do stuff, you are part of the problem. You're allowing bad behavior to continue. You have to tell someone in charge so this stuff can stop. You didn't come here to keep foolishness going. You came here to correct foolishness in your life, so you can connect back with the higher energy, which is God, which is pure energy. And pure energy and tainted energy cannot cohabitate together at the same time. It has to be all on the same accord. So let's just wake ourselves up and bring our energy back to where it's supposed to be, and help our universe balance itself, because we are the universe in human form. So let's balance ourselves back out, our universe back out, and heal our world, so we can have more love and more peace and more beauty. And for all the people who are racist and who are prejudiced, just keep incarnating, shedding your body, and getting a new one. You will experience being every race on every level, from the richest of rich to the poorest of poor. This is how the life works, so you can know what's going on. And after so many lifetimes, incarnations, you will start to realize that being prejudiced, being racist, and being greedy is just stupid. It's a waste of time, because you can't take anything with you, and you're not better than anybody. And you will get a chance to see that if you keep living. I've seen 5 of my lifetimes. I've been every race, including Caucasian male in the barbaric times where I wore animal skins for clothing. And so in my soul, in my heart, I don't feel any kind of ways negative toward anybody, anything, or in a situation, because I know what it feels like to be very, very wealthy. And I know what it feels like to be very, very poor, because I've experienced all of it. And I know what it feels like to be a woman. I know what it feels like to be a man. I've had these experiences and the memory is in your soul. So when you start relaxing and taking your time to know who you are in God, who God is in you, He'll reveal these secrets to you. These secrets are in your scriptures, but they have been written in allegories, metaphors, myths, half-truths, lies, and secrets, so you won't figure it out. So just take your time and get to know who you are in God and who God is in you, and this will help the world be a better place for everybody to live. And like I said, everything's happening just like it's supposed to. It's a visual for us to see. It's what we've done to ourselves, each other, and to our world. So wake up, people, and figure out what you're doing. And when you read these stories in the Bible, if you come across a story that pertains to you that's wrong, stop doing it. It's a story to show you that you are doing the wrong thing, and to stop doing it right now. The book of life shows that you operate from principles of goodness, love, and peace, and beauty, and joy, and inspiration, and illumination, and truth, and trust, and wisdom, and knowledge, and power, etc. And the book of knowledge of good and evil is principles that show you when you operate from principles of hatred, anger, resentment, lust, harm and hurting, sickness, and disease. So if you have any of these things going on in your life, in your body, confused mind, mental unclarity, then you are not using the principles right. You are using them separately, and you have to use them together. And if you're in relationships that's not using both principles, the other half of yourself, because the male part of the principle of life is the other half of you, and the female part of the woman is the other half of the male, and the male part of the male is the other half of the woman. So use them together as one, and you will have the wholeness of God working in your life and through your life, and you will have the wisdom to make balance in your life. Otherwise than that, you are on a track of destruction for yourself and for the world, and you're keeping it out of balance. So wake up and become conscious of what you're doing, and let's heal our world, each other, at the soul level and the highest level of the Christ consciousness, so we can make our world a better place for everybody to live and move and have a being. Then we can have the paradise that God promised in the beginning. We will never have that paradise as long as we keep the balance, upset the balance of the universe, because people in the universe are one and the same. We're all the same. And like I said, people keep thanking Jesus for everything, and Jesus tell you here, He's not the one that God does the work. He said, I myself do nothing. Then He says, follow me. He don't mean follow Him, the human mind. He means follow the Christ that's in you, that's in Him, the same Christ that He's following, that's in Him. He wants you to follow the same Christ in you, because Christ is in everybody, and that's God in man. And the air that you breathe is the breath of life, the breath of God. When God breathed the breath into the soul, we became a living soul. So every time you breathe, you're breathing God. So realize this truth and call on God for all your answers, not Jesus, because Jesus can't help you. He already told you that. So understand what He's telling you. He's telling you that man will tell you that He's a Christ and will deceive you. He tells you that right there in Matthew. So read that and understand that. And He tell you, I myself do nothing. It is the Father that does the work. I myself, me the human, I'm just like you. I can't do anything, but I'm guided within from the Christ, which is God. And that's in everybody. So let's change our conscience and start calling on God. It's not calling on Jesus, because Jesus can't help anybody. He already told you that. So respect what He's telling you and raise yourself up to a higher level of understanding. And let's heal ourselves and our world and stop the foolishness.